Former Justice Department Special Counsel Jack Smith is sitting for a closed-door deposition with House Republicans this hour. House Judiciary Committee members digging into his investigations into President Trump. Smith arrived on Capitol Hill moments ago, as you see here, and this deposition is part of an ongoing investigation.
This is the strangest way I've ever seen to eliminate the bacteria that causes type 2 diabetes.
Now we know why the House Oversight Committee, led by MAGA, and Judiciary Committee wanted to have Jack Smith, former special counsel, behind closed doors, not making public statements to the American people to remind them that Donald Trump is a criminal. Because they refused to have special counsel Jack Smith today publicly testify as he requested, as he demanded, to speak directly to the American people, much like the Jan 6 committee. Oh no, they wanted Jack Smith to do it behind closed doors, close the mahogany doors, sit down, Jack, and let's run the court reporter. So it's just a transcript without a video. But we know what his statement is. We know what he said, and he went beyond even what I thought he was going to say. Jack Smith said today to the House Oversight Committee in his opening statement that he had evidence beyond a reasonable doubt that Donald Trump, President Donald Trump, he said, interfered criminally with the peaceful transfer of power in the 2020 election, and also had substantial evidence that he committed effectively obstruction and espionage at Mar-a-Lago. That's what they wanted. Now we know why they were hiding Jack Smith. Fortunately, we've heard from Jack Smith before. I've got the video, including recently. And I'm going to tie it all together for you. Did I mention you're on Legal AF? Now, let me explain what that means. Put on my glasses to do it. We are an independent YouTube channel. We do regular law and politics commentary. We need your help. We're about to cross 1 million, that 1 million barrier of unpaid, free subscribers. Really important in our world to keep us on the air. Check to see if you've subscribed. It's really easy. Hit the link below, hit the button. You're ready to go. We appreciate you. Let's get back to Jack Smith. I'm going to read to you from his actual statement today, because again, cameras weren't there, but we know what he said based on a written and prepared statement. He said this is what he said. I made the decision. He said the decision to bring charges against President Trump was mine, but the bases for those charges rest entirely with President Trump and his actions, as alleged in the indictments, returned by grand juries in 2 different districts. He said, we took actions based on what the facts and the law required, the very lesson I learned early in my career as a prosecutor. He said that Trump exploited the violence and tried to call members of Congress in furtherance of their criminal scheme, urging them to further delay certification of the 2020 election. This is the explanation and the justification as to why Jack Smith and his team went to go look for the phone records of these people, not tap the phone calls, go look at the phone records for people in the House and the Senate. He says, I didn't choose these members. President Trump did. He also went on to say the following. Listen to this, and then I'm going to remind you what he has said publicly, just so you can put the 2 and 2 together. He said, our investigation, it's powerful, developed proof beyond a reasonable doubt, not even probable cause, the highest level of proof, beyond a reasonable doubt, that President Trump engaged in a criminal scheme to overturn the results of the 2020 presidential election and to prevent the lawful transfer of power. He went on to say that our investigation also developed powerful evidence that showed President Trump willfully retained highly classified documents after he left office in January 2021, storing them in his social club. Now, just to remind you, we've heard from Jack Smith before. In fact, this is actually floored me. Still up on the Department of Justice website, at least until my hot take goes on this channel, is a video of Jack Smith talking about the charges at the time he brought them, speaking publicly to the American people in a way that's being denied them right now by the MAGA who are running the House. Let's play the clip.
Good evening. Today, an indictment was unsealed, charging Donald J. Trump with conspiring to defraud the United States, conspiring to disenfranchise voters, and conspiring and attempting to obstruct an official proceeding. The indictment was issued by a grand jury of citizens here in the District of Columbia, and it sets forth the crimes charged in detail. I encourage everyone to read it in full. The attack on our nation's capital on January 6th, 2021, was an unprecedented assault on the seat of American democracy. As described in the indictment, it was fueled by lies. Lies by the defendant targeted at obstructing a bedrock function of the U.S. government, the nation's process of collecting, counting, and certifying the results of the presidential election. The men and women of law enforcement who defended the U.S. Capitol on January 6th are heroes. They are patriots and they are the very best of us. They did not just defend a building or the people sheltering in it. They put their lives on the line to defend who we are as a country and as a people. They defended the very institutions and principles that define the United States. Since the attack on our Capitol, the Department of Justice has remained committed to ensuring accountability for those criminally responsible for what happened that day. This case is brought consistent with that commitment, and our investigation of other individuals continues.
We've heard from him before, knowing that he was going to be dragged into this, knowing that Donald Trump was using political hack U.S. attorneys to open up grand juries and try to go after people like Jack Smith in total political vindication, retribution, a political retribution that we just had confirmation of. Susie Wiles, the chief of staff, giving an interview to Vanity Fair magazine, admitted that Donald Trump was going to use a fair portion of his first 10 months for political retribution purposes. Hello, Jack Smith. Knowing that, and knowing that they may try to shove him after they subpoenaed him to the House, that they might try to shove Jack Smith into the corner, put him behind mahogany doors and not let the public hear from him, get a transcript at some other time, he started making some public statements. In fact, he gave an interview to his former colleague and prosecutor, Andrew Weissman, in a podcast interview. And here's a clip of that in the last month or so.
The idea that politics would play a role in big cases like this, it's absolutely ludicrous, and it's totally contrary to my experience as a prosecutor. These are team players who don't want anything but to do good in the world. They're not interested in politics. And I get very concerned when I see how easy it is to demonize these people for political ends. I worked in the department for years, Republican, Democrat, Republican. I was the acting U.S. attorney in the first Trump administration in Tennessee. Nothing like what we see now has ever gone on. If there's rules in the department about how to bring a case, follow those rules. You can't say, I want this outcome, let me throw the rules out. The problem is not prosecuting high officials who did something wrong when you do it according to the processes of law in your country. It's the retaliation. That's the problem.
Now, Jamie Raskin, who I love for many, many reasons, including that I know him personally, met him personally, and introduced him at a rally fundraiser in Miami recently. He said, all right, I was there. I'm on the House Judiciary Committee. I heard the statement. Now I know why MAGA was hiding him. Here's Jamie Raskin.
I just want to say that Chairman Jordan made an excellent decision in not allowing Jack Smith to testify publicly, because had he done so, it would have been absolutely devastating to the president and all of the president's men involved in the insurrectionary activities of January the 6th. So, I can't get into any further particulars, but I'll just say that Jack Smith has just spent several hours schooling the Judiciary Committee on the professional responsibilities of a prosecutor and the ethical duties of a prosecutor, and he's a sensational and honorable public servant, and we are lucky to have him in the bar in the United States of America.
Could you describe at least what his message, Jack Smith's message was generally to the committee?
Again, he's being answered, he's been asked and he's answering questions. So he didn't come with any particular message, but I'll just say that he's answered every single question to the satisfaction of any reasonable-minded person in that room.
Any conclusion that he reached at the end of his investigation that he disclosed with the committee in the deposition?
Well, his report speaks for itself in terms of January the 6th and the indictments that were handed down, and the other reports should be public. I mean, that's just absolutely aberrational that it's not public. Just like his testimony should be public. Every other special counsel's been able to come here and testify. Robert Mueller's been able to testify. Robert Hur's been able to testify. All the special counsels and independent counsels have come in. And his second report on the retention of classified documents and what crimes may have been committed should also be released.
Now, many, many people are coming to the defense of Jack Smith. Many, on both sides of the aisle, because everybody knows him to be the Boy Scout, right? And to be the, the Boy Scout of the Judiciary Department. Particularly, John Dowd, a Republican, defended Jack Smith, not that he needs any defending, this way. He said, Jack Smith was once my adversary in a high-profile investigation of a Republican client. In that investigation, Smith proved himself to be fair, impartial, and fearlessly committed to the laws and the facts in the law. He was unmotivated, says John Dowd. He was unmotivated by partisan politics. But recent attacks on Smith are motivated by partisan politics, and they are untethered to the facts or to the law. And that's from somebody that actually represented Donald Trump. To be clear, that is from John Dowd. And John Dowd didn't just represent Republican and Republican clients. He also, at some point, represented Donald Trump. And so that's an important and powerful endorsement of Jack Smith. We need to hear more of Jack Smith. I think there's going to be two competing campaigns right now. You're going to have the House Oversight and Judiciary Committee trying to spoon feed American people drips and drabs from whatever they think they want to release from Jack Smith's testimony. Like I've already seen, Jack Smith thought the raid at Mar-a-Lago was inappropriate. That's not what he said, by the way. That's not what he said. Donald Trump came out with a social media post today. Illegal search and seizure can't ever happen again to anybody else. What illegal search and seizure? Give back the material, and maybe they wouldn't have. This was the last straw after Donald Trump lied to the archivist for the United States, lied to Department of Justice, lied to the FBI, and his lawyers did, started hiding documents from his own lawyer, started moving documents around caught on videotape and surveillance, refused demands to return the material. Of course, they sent in a team to go pick it up from his house at Mar-a-Lago in August while he was in New Jersey. It wasn't even there. So he made it sound like they busted down the door and they caught Melania in her nightgown. I mean, it's really ridiculous. So the competing campaign is Jack Smith getting his own message out. He's got a very good team around him. He's got great lawyers around him. And they're starting to get the message out about Jack Smith. And what I think is going to happen next is people like Jamie Raskin with shadow hearings are going to be calling in Jack Smith now to give live testimony to the American people under oath. That wasn't obtained or presented by MAGA because they got something to hide. So look for Jamie Raskin and others to put Jack Smith up to see the American people sometime in January when we're back from the holidays. I'm glad you're here. Hit the free subscribe button. Help us continue our march towards 1 million. Check to see Hit the link below in the notes. That'll take you to get you into the subscription area. Subscribe. It's all free. But if we hit that 1 million, it allows us to continue to have the street cred we need to bring in the former judges and the law professors and the litigators and the American Civil Liberties Union and Democracy Forward and all of that here under one roof at Legal AF. Help us build this community. We appreciate you for doing it. I'm Michael Popak. Until my next report. I'm Michael Popak, and I got some big news for our audience. Most of you know me as the co-founder of Midas Touch's Legal AF and the Legal AF YouTube channel, or as a 35-year national trial lawyer. Now, building on what we started together on Legal AF, I've launched a new law firm, the Popak Firm, dedicated to obtaining justice through compassionate and zealous legal representation.